Hello everyone. To our first time viewers, welcome. To everyone else, welcome back. Today's topic is the Mandela Effect. Some of you may have already heard of this. For everyone else, I apologize for spoiling it for you. This may come as a surprise, but it's stupid. The Mandela Effect is a term used to describe a situation in which a group of people, often a large group of people, misremember a specific event all in the same way.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another Better Mankind video.
Hey, thanks, hi.
So if you're new to the subject matter in the title of this video, then let me tell you, you're in for the ride of your life.
Ooh, excellent. Ride of my life. Can't wait to see what you've got for us.
So what is the Mandela Effect? Well, the simplest explanation is to have a clear memory of something that doesn't exist in this reality.
So, an inaccurate memory then.
Keep in mind that this phenomena is not a conspiracy theory or a bunch of false memories. According to scientists, parallel realities do exist.
According to scientists, parallel universes may exist.
And we seem to be sliding between them without even realizing it.
Sorry, nope. No scientist ever claimed that.
Now, the reason they call it the Mandela Effect is due to the fact that many people, myself included, have a clear memory of Nelson Mandela dying in 1991 while still in jail.
Well, somebody should have told him that, because Nelson Mandela lived until 2013. And he didn't die in prison. Get your history straight. Maybe you were thinking of Stephen Biko. And if you think you get points for getting the skin color correct, you don't, you racist prick. Nelson Mandela was actually released from prison February 11th, 1990. This information comes straight from the Nelson Mandela Foundation. I would think they should know.
Now, for those of you out there who have no memory of this ever happening, it would be rather easy to dismiss it and think of me and other Mandela Effects believers as a bunch of delusional freaks.
You're probably not aware of it, but you saved me a little time there.
And you would be within your right to accuse us of being crazy if it wasn't for leftover residue from the original reality. You see, on the 1st of October 1991, there was a book published called English Alive. Now, on page 54 of this book, it clearly states that Nelson Mandela died on the 23rd of July 1991.
Well, I was able to find that exact snippet in Google Books. Not the entire book in PDF form or any other way to acquire it. Oddly enough, in Google Books, I also found this. I'm afraid that without having the entire book available, it is impossible to draw any conclusions based on a few snippets garnered from Google. I wonder if there's any evidence that Nelson Mandela actually did die in 2013. You know, like maybe if one or more major news organizations broadcast this rather big news. Maybe if someone like the BBC perhaps. Or maybe CNN, which I saw. Or maybe if the President of the United States had something to say on the topic. That might be taken as evidence too. Well, certainly more so than an out-of-context snippet where the rest of the document is not available. Seems pretty cut and dry, right? Unfortunately not. This is the wonder of the Mandela Effect for the conspiracy theorist, compared to, say, the flat earth nonsense, where eventually people will have enough extra time on their hands to disprove every single one of the tenets supporting the flat earth. Mandela Effect is different. Any proofs you can point to or come up with will just be declared part of the altered timeline, and only the inconsistencies in the world around us, of which there is no shortage, will be pointed to as evidence of this great conspiracy to alter our timelines. Alright, let's look at some examples.
The first one I would like to discuss is the movie Forrest Gump. It's an all-time classic and also responsible for one of the most famous lines in cinema history. It's a line that I myself have uttered on many occasions, so it blew my mind to hear it in its current form. Let's have a listen.
You want a chocolate? I could eat about 1.5 million of these. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Now, I don't know about you, but as far as my memory serves me, it has always been life is like a box of chocolates and not life was like a box of chocolates. Let's listen to it one more time.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
This false memory is relatively easy to understand. In standard English, the correct phrasing would have been, my mama always used to say, life is like a box of chocolates. Mama would not have referred to what life is like in the past tense while she was speaking. Our brain automatically corrects this, and the memory, which we store over time, becomes the corrected version. When we compare the corrected version to the real version in the movie, we notice a discontinuity. They do not match. This is the kind of discontinuity that the Mandela Effect capitalizes on. And you'll see throughout all the other examples, this is usually the case. The memory, once absorbed, is corrected to what it should be, as opposed to what it actually was. Alright, that's enough better mankind. Let's find some other examples from around the web.
No, I am your father.
Ooh, hey, what'd he say there? Everybody knows he's talking to Luke, and everybody knows he said, Luke, I am your father. Due to the popularity of Star Wars, this is perhaps one of the most popular examples given of the alleged Mandela Effect. This is the problem of taking just one line out of context. Listening to that one line, we have the tendency to say, no, that's not what he said at all. We remember it as, Luke, I am your father. However, if we look at the context in which it was spoken, we find that that wouldn't make much sense. A conversation was already going on, albeit while a battle was going on, and it would not have really made sense to identify the intended recipient of the following sentence, since they were already talking. Let's listen to it now in context.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
So you see, it actually makes sense in the movie, in that scene, that he responded in that way, with, no, I am your father. First, he wanted to refute what Luke had said in the conversation they were already having, and second, wanted to make his point. So, no, I am your father is the perfect response. It fits in well when you look at it in context. Pulled out of context, we end up with the Luke, I am your father. This is another example of our brain converting a memory from what it actually was into what we think it should be. And here's a few from Reality Shifter.
So I'll start with Oscar Mayer. I remember MEYER. I was a kid. Kids are very observant. I was a very observant kid, so MEYER was for me. It's always been Oscar Mayer in this reality.
So you were a very observant kid. Oh, I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were a very observant kid. And I'm sure you observed it exactly as it was. However, in the intervening time, while the memory has been sitting deep in your brain has adjusted it to fit the more common spelling, MEYER, probably due to the sound. Brain thinking MAYER would be mayor It's pronounced Meyer. That must be an E. And over the years, it was kind of morphed into that spelling in your head. That's how it happened. Did you notice while you were pronouncing it as it is actually spelled, you didn't say Meyer, you said Mayer? That's a pretty good indication that your brain actually believes that that is not the correct spelling. It's not surprising that it was corrected in your mind over the years to be what you thought it should be. Now, take a look at this commercial from the early 70s. I know what you're thinking, reality changed that too. Except in the early 70s, I saw it.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Oscar Mayer, the first name in Bologna.
How's that?
Don't know if anyone else remembers that commercial, but there you go.
Febreze, I remember it being spelled with two E's. It was spelled correctly. Now it's, in this reality, it's always been Febreze. I first noticed the change actually too in like 2011, I think. And I thought maybe the company probably changed its name or something, but no, it turns out they never did. And learning about the Mandela Effect, I was like, whoa.
Same deal. Your consciousness expects breeze to be spelled with two E's in the middle, and in this case it isn't. You might want to, like, whoa, forget the Mandela Effect.
Sketchers, I remember it used to be spelled correctly, like a regular sketch. Had a T in the middle. There's never been a T in this reality.
Again, demonstrating my point. Your brain holding the belief that there is a correct way to spell it would almost certainly transform already imperfect memories over time. If you're not looking at it every day, when you look at the original again and see that it does not match what you think would be the correct spelling, it's not surprising that you might fall for this Mandela Effect stuff.
I used to watch the show a lot when I was little too, in the 90s on Cartoon Network. It was Johnny Quest. There used to be a H there, but it used to be J-O-H and then Y. But it's always been Joni in this reality.
Joni, huh? Okay, so you were expecting to see the H there, and over time, your mind put the H there. When compared to the original looked imperfect, and therefore must belong to some alternate reality. Much more probable than an imperfect memory.
Chick-fil-A is now spelled correctly, the chick part. But I remember when it was C-H-I-C, and that's it, there was no K. But there's other people I've read that they're from a reality where it's C-H-I-K. I don't remember that. But I definitely 100%, 110, 1000% remember C-H-I-C. And I always used to look at it because it was spelled incorrectly, you know? There was no K, but it's always been spelled correctly in this reality.
This one is a little more complicated. It's still a distortion of a memory over time. But what has actually occurred in this case is the deliberate misspelling of the word fillet, the F-I-L-A, kind of tricks one's mind into thinking that the chick should somehow be spelled in a cutesy way as well. This is further evidenced by the comment that some friends saw it with just a K and no C, and he saw it with a C and no K. Again, this is a much more plausible explanation than universes are shifting.
Sex in the City. I remember Sex and the City. I remember Sex in. I watched the movie a few years ago. I think it was like in 2009 or something. Yeah. Don't ask me why I watched it. I was with one of my ex-girlfriends, but it was In the City, not And.
No, it's always been and. It's never been in. Many people remember it as in because they believe that's what it should say, because they don't understand the concept of a stylized title.
And in this reality, there's always been a staple on the letter L. I don't remember that at all. There was never a staple there.
Alright, this was just inattentiveness. If a company was going to name itself Staples, and they were involved in the selling of office products, why would they not include an image of a staple in the name? No. The following is an excerpt from David Ludden, Ph.D., from an article he wrote for Psychology Today. In his article, he attempts to clarify where he believes false memories may come from. Please find the link for the full article in the description. In the article, he says, "When we attempt to recollect the past, we're asking our memories to do something they were never designed for. Instead of calling up a series of events as they occurred, the mind scrounges up bits and pieces of stored experiences and constructs them into a story that makes sense in the present. And each time a story is retold, whatever embellishments that might have been added for literary effect get encoded along with the original events. That's why the fish that got away gets bigger and bigger with each retelling." We'd like to think of memory as a record of our past. However, record keeping isn't part of our memory's job description. Instead, it's charged with helping us predict the future to guide behavior, and to this end, it selectively stores bits and pieces of our experience that might come in handy. Our memories simply aren't concerned with historical accuracy, and any bits of information acquired later that may help with future predictions get woven into the fabric of memory as though they had always been there. I would encourage you to read the entire article. Alright, I know this was a pretty short video, but I don't wish to belabor the point. I think we've made it pretty clear. The Mandela Effect is entirely attributable to the natural tendency of our brains to create order out of a chaotic world. Anything that is not as we think it should be may be slightly altered to fit what our brains believe it should be. If there are any other examples you've seen of the alleged Mandela Effect that you'd like me to address, I would be more than happy to. I'll make a second video covering the ones that you think are appropriate or significant. Just please leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. See you next time.